I still remember the sound of the door closing. It wasn't loud, it didn't slam, but something inside me broke when it clicked shut. That was the last time I saw my husband standing in our kitchen. He had one hand on his suitcase. The other was holding hers. Yes, my best friend. They didn't even try to hide it anymore. He looked at me like I was a stranger. She looked down at the floor like it hurt her to look at me. But they left, together, and I just stood there, frozen. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. Not right away. I just stood in the middle of the kitchen, our kitchen, with the smell of burnt toast still in the air. It was supposed to be a normal Saturday morning, but everything was gone, just like that. Let me take you back a little. Maybe it will help you understand how I got here. My name is Lily. I'm 33 years old. I used to think I had a simple, happy life. A husband who smiled at me over coffee. A best friend who called me every day. A job I liked. A small apartment filled with photos and memories. I thought I had everything. I met Jack, my husband, when I was 24. We were both working at the same company. He was in marketing. I was in design. He made me laugh from the first day. He had this warm way of talking, like you were the only person in the room. And when he looked at me, I felt safe. A year later, we moved in together. 2 years after that, we got married. And then there was Sarah. Sarah and I had been best friends since high school. We were the kind of friends who knew each other's secrets. We laughed at the same stupid jokes. We cried over the same movies. I helped her move 5 times in 10 years. She helped me through my mother's illness. We were family. I trusted her with everything, even with Jack, especially with Jack. In fact, I introduced them. At first, it was great. The 3 of us would hang out often. Game nights, small parties, movie marathons. Jack and Sarah got along so well. Sometimes I even joked they liked each other more than they liked me. But I never imagined, no, I didn't want to imagine. Looking back now, there were signs, little things, like how Sarah would text him memes directly instead of sending them to our group chat, how Jack started spending longer hours at work, when I knew Sarah had just joined a company in the same building, how they would look at each other sometimes and quickly look away when I turned my head. But love makes you blind, or maybe hope does. I didn't want to see the truth. Then one day I came home early from work. I had a headache and just wanted to lie down. But when I walked in, the house felt strange, quiet, but not in a peaceful way. Something was wrong. I walked into the living room, and there they were, not kissing, not touching, just sitting too close on the couch, laughing at something on Jack's phone. A kind of laugh that felt too personal, too soft, like I had walked into a moment I wasn't supposed to see. They both jumped when they saw me. Jack said, "Hey, didn't expect you home so early." Sarah gave me that nervous smile and mumbled something about just leaving. I tried to believe it was nothing, just friends being friends. But deep inside, something was changing. I started to watch more closely. I checked Jack's phone once while he was in the shower. I didn't find anything clear, just a long list of messages with Sarah that had been deleted. That was worse than finding proof, because it meant they were hiding something. I asked Jack once, just once, if something was going on. He got angry, said I was being paranoid, said I needed to trust more if we wanted to work as a couple. So I believed him, or at least I tried to, until that morning. The morning they left, Jack had packed a small bag. He didn't even look like he was in a rush. He looked ready, like he had practiced this moment in his head 100 times. Sarah waited in the hallway, holding her keys and biting her lip like a guilty child. Jack said it softly. I think we both know this hasn't been working for a while. I stared at him. You're leaving me for her? He nodded, didn't say sorry, didn't cry, just nodded. Sarah whispered, I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something, but I didn't. I just nodded too. Then they walked out, together, and I stood there, alone. The hours after that were blurry. I lay on the couch, then the floor. I didn't eat. I didn't cry much either. Just sat in silence, feeling like a ghost in my own home. The next few days were worse. People started asking questions. My sister came over and brought food. My boss gave me a few days off, but I didn't talk about it. I couldn't. How do you explain that the two people you trusted the most broke you? I wanted to disappear. I wanted to start over, but I didn't even know where to begin. Then one night I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. It said, You don't know me, but I know Sarah. I think you deserve to know the truth. My heart jumped. The truth? What truth? My fingers shook as I held the phone. That one sentence, just a few words, felt like a storm. You don't know me, but I know Sarah. I think you deserve to know the truth. I stared at the screen, not sure what to do. Should I reply? Was this a joke? Was it someone trying to hurt me more? But something deep inside told me to answer, so I did. Who are you? I typed. What do you mean? The reply came quickly. My name is Elena. I worked with Sarah. We were friends until I found out who she really is. My heart started racing. I sat up, eyes locked on the screen. I typed again. What did you find out? There was a pause. Then the messages started coming, one after the other. Elena told me that Sarah had a pattern. She had been in 3 serious friendships in the past 10 years, and in each one she got close to the friend's partner. One ended with a breakup, one ended with the friend moving to another city, and now with me she had done it again. At first, I didn't believe it. It sounded crazy. Sarah, the friend who helped me through my mother's cancer. Sarah, who brought me tea when I had the flu. Sarah, who was there on my wedding day, smiling, hugging me like a sister. But then Elena sent me screenshots, old photos. One message Sarah had sent to her a year ago, joking about how Lily never sees anything, poor thing. I couldn't breathe. It felt like the ground had disappeared from under me. I had been blind, completely blind. Not only had I lost my husband and my best friend, but I had been part of a game I didn't even know was happening. Why? Why would someone do this? Was I boring? Not good enough? Too trusting? I sat with those thoughts for a long time. Too long. Days passed. I stayed in bed, curtains closed, phone off. My sister, Maya, kept knocking, but I didn't answer. I couldn't face her. I couldn't face anyone. But then, one morning, I woke up and felt something different. Anger. Not the wild kind. Not the kind that makes you scream. This was quieter, sharper. It sat deep in my chest. I looked in the mirror and barely recognized myself. My hair was messy. My eyes had no light. I looked like someone who had disappeared from her own life. And I thought, no, they took enough. I wasn't going to give them more. I got up, took a shower, cleaned the kitchen, threw out the burnt toast still sitting in the toaster from that awful morning. I opened the windows and let the sunlight in. Then I made a decision. I needed to find myself again. Not the wife, not the best friend, not the woman crying on the floor. Me, just me. I called Maya first. She came over in 10 minutes. She didn't say, "I told you so," though I could see she wanted to. She just hugged me. Then she said something that really stayed with me. "You lost 2 people who didn't deserve your love, but that means you're free now. You get to build something new, and this time you choose who's in it." Those words hit deep. I decided to take a break from everything. I asked for unpaid leave from work. I packed a small bag. Maya offered to come with me, but I said no. I needed to do this alone. I went to a small coastal town 2 hours away, somewhere quiet. I found a cheap little guest house. Nothing fancy, just a soft bed and a window that looked out at the sea. I spent the first few days walking along the beach, watching the waves, thinking, not about Jack, not about Sarah, but about myself. Who was I before all this? What did I love? I bought a small notebook and started writing every day. Just simple things. What I saw, what I felt, what I remembered about being a child and dreaming big things. Slowly, I started to breathe again. One afternoon, I walked into a small bookstore near the guest house. It was warm inside, filled with the smell of old paper and fresh coffee. The owner, an older woman named Ruth, smiled at me like she had been waiting for me all day. "You look like someone who needs a good book," she said. "I think I need more than that," I replied, smiling for the first time in weeks. She handed me a novel and said, "This one helped me when I was lost." We started talking. She told me her story. I told her a bit of mine, just the outline, no details. But somehow she understood. Every day after that, I went back. We drank tea and talked about stories, people, life. She gave me books and I started reading again. And writing more, a lot more. One day she asked me, "Have you ever thought about writing your own story?" I laughed. No one would want to read it. She looked at me seriously. I would. That night I wrote for hours. The pain, the betrayal, the heartbreak. I put it all on the page, but also the strength. The quiet strength that had carried me through every broken moment. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like a survivor. One morning, while sitting at a cafe by the water, I got a message. It was from Jack. I froze. I hadn't heard from him since the day he walked out. The name on my phone felt like a ghost returning. The message said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I made a mistake." I stared at the screen, unsure what to feel. Was he alone now? Had Sarah left him too? Was this real or just guilt? I didn't answer right away, but I knew one thing. This time I would choose carefully what I let back into my life. Should I reply to him? I sat there for a long time, staring at Jack's message. "Hey, I'm sorry, I made a mistake." A part of me wanted to throw the phone into the sea. Another part wanted to scream, but mostly I just felt calm. Not because it didn't hurt anymore, but because the hurt wasn't in control of me now. I wasn't the same person he left behind. I didn't reply, not right away. Instead, I closed my eyes and let the sea wind hit my face. I thought about that girl who stood frozen in the kitchen months ago, watching the man she loved walk out with her best friend. She was gone. In her place stood someone else now, someone stronger, someone who had survived betrayal and heartbreak and somehow still believed in herself. I finally replied, just 2 words. Too late. I didn't expect an answer, and I didn't need one. That message wasn't for him. It was for me. A line in the sand, a way to say, "I'm done carrying your mistakes." After that, I felt lighter. Not happy exactly, but clean. Like I'd just taken off a heavy coat that didn't belong to me. The days kept passing. I kept writing. I shared some of my pages with Ruth, the bookstore owner. She smiled after reading them. "This isn't just a journal," she said. "This is a book. You know that, right?" I laughed, a little embarrassed. "I don't think anyone would read something like this." She looked at me like I'd missed something obvious. "Lily, the world is full of people trying to look perfect. But your story, it's real, and real stories matter. You survived something many people don't even know how to begin healing from. You found your way out." That night, I opened my notebook and wrote the first sentence of what would become my book. My husband left me for my best friend, and I thank him. Strange, right? But I meant it, because losing them showed me who I really was, who I could be. It ripped away the fake comfort and pushed me to grow, to stop living for other people's happiness, to stop saying yes when I meant no, to stop apologizing for my own light. I stayed in the small town for another 2 months. I met new people. I laughed again. I ate alone in cafes and didn't feel lonely. I danced in my room. I walked barefoot on the sand. I read poetry and cried without shame. And one day I forgave them. Not for them, for me. Forgiving didn't mean I wanted them back in my life. It meant I was done letting them live in my head. I wanted space for better things, better memories, better people. I didn't block Jack. I didn't message Sarah. I didn't need closure. I had already closed the door myself. When I returned home, I brought with me a finished manuscript and a new version of myself. Maya picked me up from the station. She hugged me so tight I almost cried. "You look different," she said. "Good different. I smiled. I feel different. I started working again, but this time I set boundaries. I said no when I needed to. I didn't pretend to be okay when I wasn't. I gave myself space to feel and to heal. 6 months later, I got an email from a small publisher. They loved my book. They wanted to help me share it. The first copy I held in my hands had my name on the cover. My real name. No titles like wife or friend, just me. That book reached more people than I ever expected. Messages started coming in from strangers around the world. People who said my story helped them leave toxic relationships, face betrayal, or simply feel less alone. And every time I read one of those messages, I smiled. Not because I was proud, but because I was grateful. Grateful that I didn't let heartbreak break me. Grateful that I chose healing over bitterness. Grateful that I found myself on the other side. I won't lie to you, I still have days when it stings. When I hear a song or pass by a place that brings everything back. But now I know how to sit with that pain and say, you don't own me anymore. And if you're listening to this, maybe you're going through something too. Maybe someone broke your trust. Maybe you're standing alone, wondering how you'll ever feel whole again. I want you to know you will. It doesn't happen all at once. Healing is not a straight line. But one day, you'll wake up and realize the worst part is behind you. You'll feel sunlight on your face and joy in your chest, and you'll think, I made it. You don't need revenge. You don't need answers from the people who hurt you. You just need to choose yourself every day, again and again. And when you do, when you stop asking, why did they do this to me? And start asking, what do I want for myself now? That's when real freedom begins. My husband left me for my best friend, and I thank him, because he gave me a chance to become the woman I was always meant to be. How about you? Have you ever gone through something that felt like the end, but actually became your new beginning? Let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear your story. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for listening to my story.